guys. All right, so fixing to get these seats out of this 2020 Ford Mustang so we can take this factory cloth off and put some Roadwire leather interior on. So to get these front seats out, I usually just use a little pick tool like this right here. And if you'll just find your little spot, usually right there on the side, get right up underneath it and it'll pop right up. We do the same thing for this side. See, this pops up, pulls out. Right here you have Torx 55 bolts that you'll have to remove. We'll slide the seat forward, and then the backs will come out pretty similar. They both have Torx 55 as well. All right, guys, we got the front bolts out. Just a little reminder, when you're before you take these seats out, especially if they're power, you want to make sure that this seat is lifted all the way up. The reason being is when you try to get this plastic trim off, the frame itself will be out of your way and make things a lot easier when it comes to getting the trim off and attaching the new leather cover as well. So obviously this is a manual, but when it's a power seat, you want to do the same thing. Lift it all the way up. All right, so we got it scooted forward. Now these are a little bit smaller pieces, but come out the same way. I usually just get my little pick tool again, get right up underneath it, and then pull straight up. As you can see, same Torx 55. So we're gonna get these out, get the seat removed out of the car, and then we'll work on getting the back seats out. All right, guys, this is the driver's seat. Before you remove the seat from the car, you have to unplug the power supply, which usually feeds for the airbags and so forth. As you can see, you got one little button. It's right there in the middle. You're gonna push that and pull it towards you, and that should release the plug for you. This button right here. We're gonna push it and pull it straight out, and you will be good to go. All right, guys, to get this bottom cushion out of this Mustang, there's probably about midways on this cushion right here. There's a little plastic piece. I'm not gonna be able to show it to you until I get it out. But you can just take your hand, push it in, and this seat will pop up right here. And what I was pushing was this right here. So you'll do that to both sides. Once you get that, you can pull the seat straight out. All right, guys, to get these back seats out, there's two 15 millimeters, one on each side. You remove those, and these seats are individual, so one bolt per seat. Once you get the 15 nuts out, you'll literally lift it up and just slide it off of that middle bracket. And then you'll do the same thing for the other side. And keep in mind these little brackets are spring loaded, so once you pull it off of that little stem right there, it'll pop up, so be careful. All right, so we got the seat on the table. I always flip it upside down, start removing the trim. You'll have two T15, Torx 15 stars to remove that trim off. And I just start working the cover off, the factory cloth cover off. I've been doing this for 20 plus years, and I cut mine off with a razor because I know exactly where I can cut at. I do recommend you not using a razor and just, you know, using a clip removal tool or whatever you might have on hand to get these clips loose. But you just work your way around the top and work your way around the bottom, and usually it's just clips on the sides, clips on the front. When you get to the top, you will have to unclip the airbag on this one. It's pretty simple. They just clip in. I'll show it to you in just a second. Once you get everything unclipped from the bottom, flip the seat back over and you'll start removing the cloth. Most of this seat is Velcro. There are some clips on the bottom cushion. You can see them little orange clips right there, and the top is just strictly Velcro. So just be careful, ain't no need to rush with it. Just start pulling the Velcro off and you'll be good to go. So once we're putting the bottom seat cover on, we want to line up all of our seams, clip them into place. The horizontal seams will be clipped in with the 3 orange clips on the top and 3 on the bottom. Once you get those clipped in, it should be somewhat in place, but you want to kind of work this leather, get the Velcro seams in place, and then just start rolling it over the foam itself. I always start at the front, get my front looking good, and work my way towards the back crease of the seat. Like I said, just take your time and just continue to work with the leather. The leather's not just gonna form and just fold over perfectly onto the foam. You're gonna have to work with it a little bit, but to get it to your liking. These inside pieces just tuck between the frame. Right here, you'll just tuck it in. When you flip it over, you'll be able to Velcro those 2 pieces together. So continue working your leather on around. Clip it just like you unclipped the cloth. It'll all clip into the exact place where your cloth cover was clipped in as well. Here's the little pieces I was talking about where you will bring them through the frame and just Velcro them together. Roadwire does a great job of being pretty spot on when it comes to where the clips are going to be located as far as comparison to your factory cloth. Alright, so we got the bottom done. Now we're going to do the top. To do the top, you're going to have to flip that cover inside out to create you a little top to slide on. The biggest thing right here is making sure your corners at the top are lined up. And if you can look at your Velcro, you want to make sure that when you roll it down, it's going to be lined up with your seams. So just make sure your corners look good. They're nice and snug. The cover itself is pulled down to where it needs to be. Here's the airbag clip I was talking about. You're going to put one through the little hole in the foam and be sure to make sure it's turned the right way so when you roll it down, it's going to flip over. Then you simply just clip them 2 pieces together. And that is your airbag sleeve. Once you got that in place, start rolling the the cover down. And like I said, take your time. You don't want to go too fast. Do one side at a time, back and forth until you get it worked down. Now right here, I flip it down, I stick my hand up in there, and I direct that Velcro to where it needs to be in that seam. And I just work my way around, make sure it's all Velcroed in. If you can see how I'm pushing it down right here, working it into that seam. You want to have all that in place and Velcroed before you continue to get the seat complete. So now I'm flipping the seat back over. We're going to pull what we just tucked in. We're going to pull it through. Make sure all your sides and your corners and everything look good. Right here, you're going to need hog rings. Hog rings and some hog ring pliers. Just lift it up, hog it in place, and then your little map flap pocket right there is going to go up underneath the frame and it'll hog as well. And be sure not to hog through any wires or anything like that. Just like I said, take your time, and putting the trim back on is going to come off exactly how you took it off. It's got 2 little grooves at the front that it needs to slide into, and then it'll clip right into place at the top. Put your 2 Torx 15 back in. There's one on the back side and there's one underneath the front inside. All right, now we're working on one of the back seat tops. This is pretty self-explanatory on this. Unclip it. I cut mine off, but like I said, unclip the bottom. You can roll it up off of the cushion itself. But this is all Velcro, no hogs, and we're gonna do it pretty similar to how we did the top of the front. We're gonna flip that cover inside. That's your Velcro line right there. So you're gonna flip that top cover inside out, and you're gonna basically roll this cover on, just like we did the top cover on the front seat. So get your little gap, work it on, and like I said, just make sure the top and the corners look good before you start working it down. If not, you're gonna have to roll it all back up and reposition it. So it's key to make sure that you make sure everything's lined up, because once you roll it down, you won't be able to maneuver those seams as good as you would when it's not fully on the cushion itself. So I got everything lined up. I'll continue to roll down. We're going to do it the same way we did the top. Don't forget your strap right here. This is to release that so that you can have access to the trunk from inside of the vehicle. So we're doing the same thing, just lining your seams up, pushing your Velcro, make sure everything looks nice and tight. And this one, we're just gonna, you simply just roll that clip around, clip it together, and you are done with the seat. Just a reverse clip, tuck your sides, and you are good to go. Now to put this back in, you simply slide it back on the stem in the middle, line your 15mm stem up, put your nut on, tighten it down, and you are good. Keep in mind, if it's not tight, it's not gonna latch into place. Other seats, the same way, we've got it done. We're gonna slide it on the stem, line your 15mm up, tighten it down, and latch it into place. Alright, now we're going to work on the bottom cushion. These little clips go all the way around the bottom of this cushion in the back. You want to unclip all of these using your clip removal tool. These particular clips right here, you'll have to get a clip removal tool underneath it and pry it up. Or you can cut it and then lift the foam up and pull it from the inside of the plastic. Whichever's easiest for you. So you're going to see right here where we're going to start removing all this. This time consuming if you do not use a razor blade. You will be okay to use a razor blade on this back seat, on this cushion part, because there's no wires, there's nothing that you could damage. But use common sense and just cut along your seams or your clips and then remove your clips. Just make sure you remember where each clip goes. So it takes a little time to get all this off because there's a lot of clips that go all the way around, and then you got the seatbelt holes, etc. So once you get all of that unclip, you can flip the seat back over and start working it off. This particular seat is all Velcro as well. Just when you're pulling this cover off, be careful and don't just rip the whole thing off, because there is a chance of you pulling that Velcro strip out of the foam itself, and in that case you'll have to get some pretty strong adhesive glue to put it back down in there and keep it from coming up, because you want your seams to be good and tight, especially with a deep seat. The depth of this seat is very deep, so you want your seams to be good and tight, or else you'll have quite a bit of wrinkles that you're going to have to work with. So you want to start in the middle, line your seatbelt holes up, run your little clips and straps through that seatbelt hole that's gonna attach on the bottom side. Once you get that middle lined up, you can start working everything else around and getting your seams all tight. And once you get all those seams tight, then you're going to get ready to do the exact same thing we did on that bottom cushion on the front. You're going to just start rolling it around. Just remember, whatever you do to one side, go to the other side and do the same thing. Then work your way down, and then go to the other side and work your way down. That way everything is nice in unison and it goes on how you want it to go on. Once you got it nice and rolled over, we're going to flip it over and start clipping everything into place where it was originally clipped. Like I said, Roadwire does really good with lining their clips up, so everything should match up and clip exactly where that cloth cover was clipped at. And like I said, just take your time and Ain't no rush. You want everything to look good and nice and tight and in position where it needs to be. And guys, I'm gonna be doing tutorials on just about every vehicle we work on, weather dependent. Obviously, it's hard to film and stuff when the weather's not cooperating, because a lot of we're a mobile company, and we travel all around Georgia, Florida, and Alabama, and go actually to these dealerships and install these for dealers. So depending on weather, it's hard to film sometimes, but feel free to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. You can contact us on Facebook, Auto Skins Leather Interiors, or you can direct contact me here on YouTube as well. But we'll be glad to love for you guys to subscribe and tune in to videos in the future. Thanks, guys, for watching. Once again, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out.